Hello, welcome to this new episode of Geek Lunch Meat. I'm your host Chris. As usual, apologies for no episode last week. I had the lurgy, unfortunately. Luckily, it was not COVID, but yeah, just a run-of-the-mill illness. But I'm feeling a lot better now, so I will be back to bringing you the news. We picked up a few new subscribers last week as well, so thank you for that. If you have subscribed and if you like what you see, please do consider hitting that thumbs up and the subscription button, which will help out the channel a great deal. Now, on to this week's news. Still not a lot of news at the moment. This time of year, always things tend to fall off a bit. But what did we get this week? The Boys, the Amazon Prime show with the psychotic superheroes. We learned the release date for season 3 is going to be June the 3rd. We got just a very short little promo featuring Homelander going even more psychotic than usual. Absolutely love his character. He's one of those guys where you can't look away from what he's doing. He's just the greatest representation of, like, if Superman was evil. And yeah, he's such a almost a charismatic guy, but you can't wait for him to get his comeuppance. And let's hope he does in the future. But yes, that's The Boys, season 3, June the 3rd on Amazon Prime, of course. We also got word that Turning Red, the new Pixar movie, which I've reported on before, about a little girl who turns into a giant red panda, a bit like the Hulk, but fluffier when she gets stressed out. That is now coming straight to Disney Plus on March the 11th. Not as one of their premium ones that you have to pay extra for, just literally dropping on the channel. So if you've got a subscription, you'll be able to view. Strange, Disney keep doing this. It's all the Pixar stuff. When you look, it's all the Pixar films that are actually going sort of straight to Disney Plus, whereas the actual Disney movies, such as Encanto, I think it was Ray and the Last Dragon, actually got sort of cinema releases. But for some reason, they've decided to go, yeah, straight to streaming with this one. I don't know why. Pixar obviously always turn out, a great product. They're leaders in their field, really. So yeah, it's a shame. I don't think it's not indicative that Disney don't have any faith in the final film. It just seems to be a marketing strategy they're going with. But yeah, 11th of March, Turning Red will be dropping straight to Disney Plus. Eternals did drop this week as well. That's now there. You can see one of my other videos for the review I did. In a nutshell, it was okay. It was too long, too many flashbacks. Breaking up the story. I think it's doing a lot of heavy lifting towards the next phase of the MCU, but overall was a bit of a slightly unsatisfying experience, unfortunately. But one of sort of Marvel's rare mishits, I think, that one. If you are one of the people that have been waiting to see Morbius, the long-delayed Spider-Man tie-in movie with Jared Leto as the living vampire, you're going to have to wait slightly longer, as it's been delayed again. I think this is the 5th or 6th delay. Was coming out into this month. It's now April the 1st, so just a few months more you've got to wait. I can only guess this is to do with the rise of the Omicron variant, sort of in the States seems to be kicking off. Here in the UK, things don't seem too bad. Spider-Man No Way Home has shown that people are flocking back to the cinema if it's content they want, still raking in the cash. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't bode well. I've said before, I don't think Morbius hasn't got the name recognition either of something like Venom. I don't think it's going to be as successful. Sony would obviously love it to be a success because they want to bring their Sony Spider-Man universe together. And as I mentioned before, I think when I reviewed No Way Home, that even if Tom Holland wasn't a part of that, public sort of upswell seems to be that everyone loved Andrew Garfield. Again, so they can always bring him back in, and they've already got the rights for the Lizard and and Sandman and all the other villains that were there. They can bring that together with Venom and maybe do something like that. So yeah, I'm expecting, they're probably hoping it's going to be a hit, but say it's been delayed again to April the 1st. So who knows whether that's going to be any good or not. The trailer was not great, doesn't really tell you a great deal. But yeah, so that's April the 1st, that one. Studio 666, we got the first trailer for as well. I will drop links to the trailer in the description below as usual. Now this is coming out February the 25th, and this is the project featuring Foo Fighters, an idea that Dave Grohl had apparently for this story, with them going to record their 10th album in a big house, when supernatural, gory comedy shenanigans occur. What's it going to be like? Who knows? The trailer's got a few laughs in it. I always thought that it wouldn't surprise me if Dave Grohl, if they've went into acting, just the videos, things, Breakout, Learn to Fly, like the old Foo Fighters videos. He obviously seemed to enjoy that process, and seemed pretty good at it. So he's now getting his chance in their first movie. I suspect a lot of it is going to depend on whether or not you're a Foo Fighters fan. It could be quite funny. Will Force is in it as well, who I like. It depends if they go the sort of madcap comedy, a lot of gore. I don't know. The sort of trailer doesn't seem sort of show. I don't know if they'll go too far out. I don't know. We're getting a sort of vibe of the Monkees. Yeah. So who knows? It could easily be utter garbage. From stuff we've seen before, where bands have tried to do this. Yeah, the acting doesn't look too bad. So, but yeah. February the 25th, we will see on Studio 666. Another little snippet of news. Black Panther 2 apparently has started shooting again. Production shut down in November when Letitia Wright, who obviously plays Shuri, injured herself quite badly, apparently. Quite a big fracture to her shoulder, and also concussion, ongoing concussion-related symptoms, I believe it was. That's now up and running again, and is still on track to release November the 11th this year. So yeah, good stuff there. That's about it. Say news at the moment. There's not a lot been going on. So let's have a look at what I've been watching. Mostly we've had 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett now. I'll go into some spoilers. So if you've not seen it, if you're saving it for till all the episodes have dropped, and you're going to binge it or whatever, feel free to skip this bit. But yeah, we've had 3 episodes now, and I'm enjoying it, but it's definitely lacking. It's definitely not as good as The Mandalorian. It seems to have some problems for me with a lack of focus on the story. I thought when we got the end credit scene at the end of Mando season 2, where Boba comes in, shoots Bib Fortuna, and him and Fennec look absolutely awesome sitting there on the throne. I thought, yeah, we're going to get some a lot of hardcore bounty hunter action, and it hasn't at the moment sort of turned out that way. As I say, there seems to be a lack of focus of what Boba was actually meant to be doing, and just his character and how he acts. I think one of the main problems is, really, for a Boba Fett series, you want him to be that man with no name type. The silent, doesn't talk much, kicks ass, is highly feared. The problem with that is, if that all sounds familiar, because they've already done it with 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, it almost feels like if they wanted to do a Boba Fett sort of story but couldn't, so it came up with the character of Mando, and did all the stuff that they wanted to do with Boba Fett already, and then they've obviously brought Boba Fett in. You can't just have the same thing. So just things like he constantly taking his helmet off, so you lose the mystique and the menace. And it just feels like they're trying to turn him obviously into more of an anti-hero, but he's this wannabe crime boss, but he also doesn't actually seem to commit any crimes, and doesn't actually he's trying to help people out, which is fine, but it's just a bit of a change of character. Now, we have had a lot of flashbacks as well to him getting out of the sarlacc, which was great to see, and then a sort of Dances with Wolves style scenario where he's then taken in by the Tuscans and earns their respect, and becomes part of the tribe, which is a great story. It's just the first 2 episodes especially were very heavily on flashbacks, especially the second episode, at the expense of the sort of ongoing story with Boba and Fennec, which is what I'd rather see. The episode 3, the flashback was a lot smaller, It was a short episode, only about half an hour, at any rate. I think we're probably getting to the end of the flashbacks, or I don't think there'll be many more going forward because we've sort of caught up to where he mostly where he should be. But yeah, whilst the flashbacks were interesting and sort of filled in a lot of backstory, I didn't think they also. I assume they were meant to sort of show the change in him from where he's been this absolute badass mercenary to this slightly more benevolent type of guy. I'm not sure if they've done that convincingly. Let's say we may get more stuff, obviously. So say some more flashbacks in the future that fill in a few more of the details. But yeah, it's I'm not to be too negative. I think there are, and that's the thing. There's some really good bits in there. It really does feel like Star Wars. A lot of the stuff that's happening, the characters that are brought in, I say they're doing some really good stuff. Black Chrysanthemum, the bounty hunter Wookiee, looked awesome. He's from the comic books. I think his first appearance was I think it was Darth Vader issue 1, as a sort of sidekick to Dr. Aphra, who I suspect we still may see in live action at some point. He looked really cool. Obviously, Danny Trejo appeared as the new Rancor Keeper, as it was a Robert Rodriguez directed episode, which was great to see. The story definitely feels to me it's smaller than what we've had from Mandalorian, and I wonder. Obviously, I'm not privy to the Disney budgets, but I would suspect it's been done cheaper. It's definitely a smaller scale story. We're 3 episodes in of a 7-episode series. From what we sort of know of the story from the trailers and things, I suspect that majority of the story, if not all of it, is going to take place on Tatooine. It definitely seems a smaller scale story. I wonder if they've spent more of the budget on shows like Obi-Wan. Is obviously going to be a premium with Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, and the Andor series, which I think is about 12 episodes. And some of the spy photos had shots of huge sets that look, it looked, and the sort of word is that it's very much like a movie. So there's. I'm just wondering if they saved a bit of money on this. Some of the effects look a bit ropey. The episode that we've just had, episode 3, the Streets of Mos Espa, and it had there's a biker gang. Their design doesn't seem to fit in with the Star Wars aesthetic as their sort of cyberpunk look, and their little shiny like hover mopeds they go around on don't seem to fit. And then there's a chase at the end, the speeder chase, which just, I don't know if it was the directing. I mean, Rob Rodriguez I like as a director. Obviously I know he's from low budget stuff, but it looked low budget. It looks like this chase is happening at about 10 miles an hour. It's very strange, and also he directed the first episode, and some of the fight scenes in that just seemed a little bit off, which is a shame. To say that there's some good stuff in the show, it just it doesn't seem to have found its footing yet. Obviously, there's 4 episodes to go. It looks like it's building up to a war. We've obviously got the crime syndicate, the Pikes. I still wonder if we are going to see Crimson Dawn and the return of Kira, Emilia Clarke from Solo. I've just caught up with all the comic books, so I'm up to date at the moment, and they're very Crimson Dawn centric. They've just released the new their own series starring Kira. Issue 1 came out recently, so I mean, Disney love their corporate synergy. It wouldn't surprise me if one of the big surprises we get towards the end of the series is Akira and Crimson Dawn show up, and a continuation of her story, which I think will be good. Yeah, so that's Book of Boba Fett so far. Say it feels Star Warsy. The music I really enjoy. I wasn't sure when it first started, and it's not Ludwig Göransson, or they've used some of his themes that he came up with for Mandalorian, but it's a new guy doing it, and I wasn't sure, but actually it's really grown on me. As the episodes have gone by, especially the theme music on the end credits, I'm really enjoying. So it's Book of Boba Fett. Hopefully the second half of the series is an improvement on the first. that's about all I've had time. I watched The Silent Sea, the Korean series on Netflix about people going to a moon base to investigate an accident that's happened there, and experiments going on involving water, because the Earth, global warming, I think there's virtually no water. Everyone's been rationed, and there's problems there. Yeah, and that was pretty good. Well, nothing outstanding. Some nice acting. Some of the effects work is really good, and some of the effects work was really ropey, including them crash landing on the moon. It looked a bit off. But yeah, it's quite creepy, and the story sort of builds up some suspense and tension. It ends sort of abruptly. You're not sure if we're going to get another season or not, whether it even warrants another season. You can sort of guess parts of what's going to happen. Say that was Silent Sea. That's worth a look. I finally got around to watching. Is it Red Notice, the movie that's been out on a few months on Netflix, but only got a chance over Christmas to watch it. I surprisingly enjoyed it. It's The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot, I believe. I usually pronounce her name Gal Gadot, but my daughter assures me it's actually pronounced Gal Gadot, so we'll go with that. As international art and jewelry thieves, and a guy tracking them down. Yeah, it does what it says on the tin. The Rock plays The Rock. Ryan Reynolds plays Ryan Reynolds. Gal Gadot plays Gal Gadot. They all look good. They've got the charisma. If this film had been made in the late 80s, early 90s, Schwarzenegger would have had The Rock's role. Ryan Reynolds would have been probably someone like Eddie Murphy, probably Sharon Stone or someone like that, in the female role, and it would have probably done absolute gangbusters in a video shop. So it's a sort of turn your brain off, and just enjoy the sort of jokes and the visuals. And this week we did find out that it's apparently getting two sequels. We're not surprising, because Netflix, I think they said it's one of their highest rated movies of all time, and so many views they've had on that. So it's not the greatest. It's a nice little adventure movie, and we're going to be getting two sequels apparently. So I did watch that as well. That's probably about it. So I've probably rambled on longer than I thought I was going to, mostly about Book of Boba Fett, but always worth talking about Star Wars. Until next week, take care. Try and avoid the COVIDs if you can, and until next time, eat geek and be merry.